this is Irving Steele here on Local Issues. We're super excited to have international celebrity as our guest today. He is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records, and he is a local celebrity here, Chocolate Thunder. So great to see you again, my friend.
Very nice to see you, too. I think the last time I ran into you was in Starbucks, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I was just running in really quickly, and then I came back out. And as I was going in, I'm like, I think that's her. I'm not really sure. And I know when I walk up to people and get their name wrong, they're like, they go crazy. So I said, I'm going to wait till he speaks to me. And it was you inside there.
Yeah, and the reaction from the woman that I was with, she had to have a photo with you.
She did. She absolutely did. She's like, I need a picture right now. And we got them. I took a couple of pictures with her. And really nice. Really just had a really good time there in Starbucks. And it wasn't that crowded so that I didn't have to wait either, which is a great thing.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
So tell our viewers, why are you in the Guinness Book of World Records if they don't know already?
So here's the deal with the Guinness Book of World Records. So the person that had the biggest arms in the world, I now have the biggest arms over that person. So my arms are at 33 and a half inches.
Your biceps,
My biceps, the whole
33 and a half inches. Okay.
So I met with the Guinness Book of World Records people. We're still doing the meeting part for the rollover to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, but they want you to kind of do a tour to go with Guinness Book of World Records.
Okay.
So you'll be like with the bearded lady and all this other stuff when you do a tour. But I have my own tour. I have a 31-city worldwide tour going on this year.
Worldwide.
Correct. And even like last year when I went to Cuba and all the other different places, and you have to get permission from the Biden administration to go because you can't just go to Cuba now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to...
It has to be one of the 6 reasons or something
Correct.
like that.
And you have to be sponsored. So you have to be sponsored by the White House. So the White House had to sponsor me, and I called Joe Biden on his phone.
Yeah.
He has like this little Nokia phone. All the presidents I've met when they've come to a military base here locally in the area. So I get their phone number every time they come.
Yeah, and Joe's actually really good at answering his phone.
He actually is. He is. Or they have somebody call back.
Yeah.
So I called up and they go, you can go and you can take your staff with you. You have to fill out these forms and then you can go ahead down. Mm-hmm. So there's like a $75 fee from Cuba to go to Cuba.
Okay.
It's weird. They pay a fee for you to come in there because you have to be going there to support the Cuban economy.
Yep.
So you end up going to Florida.
And then support their culture as well.
Correct. So because I wanted to go to the different houses and things that they had there, and everything is just like, it's like stuck in time, but at a nice time. Like everything is... There's no cars over 1970. You can clearly tell that. Mm-hmm. But at the time, they didn't have the technology to update vehicles and things like that. So when 3D printing happened here, and we were still friendly with Cuba, 3D printing went there, and they're able to take parts that they no longer make anymore and put them on 3D printing and be able to make those car parts to keep the cars up and going. Because I didn't see one car dealership there. I don't really know. I didn't see one new car at all, so I don't even know how they get cars there. A person there told me is that when you're born, you're given a car, and that's your lifetime car. So you have to keep up with that car. That's your car. So you have to maintain it and keep the car up to date, which is really nice. The local people, they let me drive their car in Cuba, and they're like, would you like to drive the car, senor? I'm like, oh, no. I go, what happens if I don't come back with a car? They're like, senor, you look like that. Where are you hiding? I go, oh, okay. So I drove around and stuff, and I don't even think my international license is up to date still, but I know. Yeah. So I still drove in.
And are they speaking Spanish or English to you? A little mix of both?
It's both.
Yeah.
Because they have, before 2018, when Donald Trump stopped all the tourism going to Cuba, they have people in place, especially restaurants, that speak Spanish and English or just Spanish. So there's always someone that can accommodate you when you go inside a restaurant. All the hotels got thrown out in 2018 per Donald Trump administration, and they were removed from Cuba. So now what the Cuban people did, they took mansions and retrofitted them into hotels. So it's a 21-room mansion that I stayed in, and I was in the balcony on the top. They have like this little celebrity suite. So you can oversee Cuba and see everything that's in Cuba, but you have to be prepared because if you have mobility issues, these buildings were built, these mansions were in the 1800s, the turn of the century, 1900s. So there's no elevators at all. So you're going to have to do those 5 flights of stairs. And one of their stairs is so big, it takes like 3 steps to do one stairs, and there's 15 steps per landing.
Wow.
So I've met people up on the way resting. They have chairs in case you can't make it, so you can rest in a chair on the way up. So on the 3rd floor, you're like past the same person again. I'm like, still trying to get there, huh? So it's once you drop your luggage and stuff off, and they do help you with your luggage, you're pretty good as far as that goes. My tour started early this year, and
just one step back
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
these houses. I was understanding that most of the economy there obviously is owned. It's communist, so it's owned by the government. But for us as Americans, we need to stay in these kind of locally owned houses, is what you're saying.
Correct. So what they do is they're listed online. It's like Booking.com,
Like Airbnb,
like Booking.com.
Booking.com.
Yeah, because it's not really an Airbnb house. But they do breakfast. The majority of them do breakfast. But you need to pay attention when you book it, because if you look at your hotel room, you need to make sure that it's a correct hotel room for you, because some of them don't have a bathroom. And my staff almost booked a couple of those. They don't have a bathroom. There's no shower. You're like, well, where are these people? And the next scene, it would be like a big shower room, and then it would be 5 shower heads behind a plexiglass, and 2 guys on one side, and then 2 ladies with a child on the other side, and you're all in the same cubicle, and you almost booked it.
Wow.
And I went, wait. I go, what is this? And then there's this 5 bidets, and there's no stalls in between them and no separators. They're just there in the bathroom where the shower area is. So you have to make sure to pay attention when you book it, instead of just saying, oh, that's a good deal, I'm going to book this. You gotta because that's what they did. Yeah, because that could have been the servants' quarters back then when the mansion was built, and that's where they lived.
Definitely. So. And when you're in there, is it almost like a homestay? You get to know the family, the culture, language a little bit?
So they have things that are around the whole mansion that tell you about the mansion, including the pool, and they have retro cameras, and they still have albums, and they have the record players, and they're pristine. Everything's new that's in there, like it was just open, like it was NIB new in box. And everything's just open there. The only problem that you have with Cuba is that they control everything.
Everything.
So they control the internet. They control...
Do they have internet there?
It's like 2G, which is like dial-up. So they have internet. Oh, it takes like 45 minutes for a text to go out. It's a long time. So with an email,
everything's controlled. Everything's
controlled with an email and a text. They have a computer, because you're on their internet. Mm-hmm. You can't use your own. They just block it. They have a computer that scans for certain words that you text out, like freedom or how to rent a raft to go to Miami, and if they have any of those words in it, it comes back and tells you that it wasn't authorized by the government, and they sent it back to you. But it takes like 45 minutes for a text or 8 hours for an email. You'll get an email back saying it wasn't authorizing it, and it comes back.
It's like a whole nother world.
It really is. The people were telling me, like, for 2 months they make $20. The government takes all of their money.
For 2 months, $20.
Yeah, $20.
How are the people there?
The people are very nice. The people where I went were very, very nice, because it was kind of touristy. So, but even when I went into Havana, it was still really nice. Very nice people. A lot of the police are done by private security. Like, they have one police officer that looks over this company, and like at any moment something can happen. There was a man that was crossing the street, and he wasn't crossing fast enough, and the police officers tell him to go faster. He doesn't go fast enough. The security guard person goes out and starts hitting him with a nightstick on his legs. He falls down on the road. I go, yeah, that'll make him go faster. Now he can't walk. So people are dragging him off before the cars take off, and it was insane to watch. But you don't want to get involved, because you'll be next. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what they do here. You have to accept that's what they do here. And
how safe did you feel?
So I have a security team of 3 people, and they're like this high. They're like nipple ring high. They're funny. So I felt safe until the bomb went off, because they had a bomb that went off 1 block over.
Oh, my goodness.
And we were there, and I said, hey, where would you guys like to go for lunch? Boom, the bomb goes off, my hat flies off, my glasses fly off. People are trying to write me, saying, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Were you involved? And I actually sent a video to my buddy Kevin Hogan at the time, who worked at WFSB 3 here in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And I sent him a video saying, hey, I'm live on the scene. We just had a bomb go off, blah, 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 and I'm okay, this and that. And I did, because they couldn't get anybody to cover this in Cuba, because they don't have reporters and things. Even their TV stations are just a microphone that's set up, and some random person that's walking down the street, they'll ask them to tell what happened. So you just walk up to the mic and you just start talking. So that was a little insane. The government claimed it was a gas leak. The citizens claimed it was a bomb.
Who knows?
No one knew, so everybody was fighting on the internet about it, writing other people in their country. So what Cuba did was they went boop, and they shut the internet off for 12 hours.
Just like that.
All the Wi-Fi TVs went out. They're like, ay, míos, the internet just got shut off. I go, does this happen all the time? They're like, oh, yes, it does. And they really did. They shut it off for 12 hours. So you have to, if you have a flight to check to see if it's on, you can't do it. If you have anything, you're done. That's it. And they don't tell you, hey, it's shut off for 12 hours. It's just when it comes back on, it comes back on. Mm-hmm. And that's clearly just the way it goes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's how it goes in different places. I was in China for many years. Mm-hmm. And one thing there, same thing. You know, there was an event going on. I was walking. I was the organizer of the event. Mm-hmm. And they called me. Perfect English from the government. They said, do you realize your visa is to work here, not to organize meetings in public places? I said, oh, okay, yeah, I understand.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, yeah.
Then I get closer to the event where it's going, and just as you said,
yep,
everything was shut off. My cell phone, I had no access to any email, text message, and this was, 8 hours or so.
And same thing with me. I didn't realize that this could happen. I should have realized it when the TV only has like 3 stations. So it's either wrestling, because they have wrestling there, Cuban baseball, and it's all day Sunday on church, and you'll see the president of Cuba with the president of Mexico, and they'll be at church. But it's just all day. There's no commercials. It just runs straight through, and then that's it. Then they have a segment where they show Cuban soap operas. But that's it.
That's all they're showing.
That's all it is. They show
3 channels.
Oh, it is. That's it. 3 channels. They show a lot of news from Peru, where they're constantly being water hosed by a big truck with a big cannon with water for shooting protesters down with a water gun. So that comes on a lot for some unknown reason. Yeah. So it's a lot to go to Cuba, but you have to be prepared for this when you're going to go there. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's clearly what's going to happen.
It's almost like a history lesson, just going there to see.
I think every kid should have to do a field trip to go there. You will thank God that you have texting and that you have a cell phone, and that because they can shut that off at any moment, and there's just nothing you can do.
You really respect and appreciate our First Amendment rights.
100%, because they have something, and the natives call this. They said they'll make you disappear, and I go, well, what is that? So if you talk bad about the government, they just show up, and they will just take you. You're taken. They just take you. So they had a guy. I saw this guy at the airport, and then I saw this guy that was outside the restaurant because the waitress there was telling me how they'll make you disappear. And I go, well, what happened? She goes, the guy said something about the government, and I heard a noise downstairs, and I looked down at the apartment, and 5 guys went in, and 2 guys were carrying him over their heads, and the other 2 guys were carrying all of his property out of the apartment. And she said the next day there was a different person living in the apartment. He was gone. They just took him.
Just like that.
And I was in the airport. At the time, you had to have COVID screening to come back into the United States. Mm-hmm. So this guy from Miami, Florida, because he announced it, he yells out, why should I have to pay $35 to get a COVID test when all of you come into our country illegally every day? Like that. So we're all standing in the line, and we all just went, what? What did he just say? So this door opened. Oh, no, he said, I've stayed at Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. Do you know what that is? And then the door opened, and these 4 guys came out. They saw me, and they're like, Senor? I'm like, how are you doing? And they walked by me, and they went over, and they gently grabbed him by his left and right elbow, like if you have a drunken wife at your company party and you got to escort her out of the building, like that. And they were like walking him, and he goes, what's going on? What are you doing? And the other 2 guys took all his luggage and the backpack, and the last guy was watching them, and he was on our flight. We never saw him again. I don't know where he went. He was taken. They took him. They made him disappear. He was gone that fast.
Man. Another reason to really appreciate being here in the greatest country in the world.
100%, because that doesn't happen here. No one just breaks into your house and takes you.
You can't just do that.
And they're hired by the government to take you. I mean, that just doesn't happen here. Mm-mm. But for them, that's just Tuesday. It's just like another day. It's
and
like,
they're
oh,
used
well.
To it.
Yeah, they do. And the people that were there, they just closed up a space where he was standing and just stood there in line and like, oh, well, they took him. It wasn't me, so good for me. Yeah, it's the most insane thing you've ever seen.
But you felt okay. You felt safe.
I felt
your
fine.
3 bodyguards, even though they were a little short.
Oh, yeah. I felt, everywhere I go, I feel safe, but I will tell you this. So my phrase is out of town by sundown. So if I'm in a place, I'm generally back in the hotel or Airbnb house by 5 o'clock. If they have parties at night, like Jamie Foxx had a party and Kevin Hart had a party, a couple of people. It depends on where it is and who it is, but I'm generally back in at 5 o'clock. I'll go, oh, we're having a party tonight. It starts at 9. I'm like, oh, I have a teleconference video meeting. I can't make it.
Better
blah,
safe
blah, blah.
than sorry.
Because I'm not familiar with this area in Los Angeles. I'm not familiar with this area in Hollywood. I don't know what happens at night in these different places. I like in Montreal. Montreal gets crazy at night. It's just no one goes to sleep. All the restaurants are open till 2 a.m.
24/7.
And it's insane. So and especially on Halloween, because you can't really tell who's who. Everybody's got costumes on.
Exactly.
There's a guy dressed all in gray like he's a little robot. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. He could go stabby at any moment. So I'm not trying to deal with any of that. So 5 o'clock, I'm in generally, and I'm okay with that. I'm generally okay with that. I don't have a problem with it. I always schedule on my tour. I have my staff try to do it. They try to schedule where I have a day off, where I can see the area where I'm at. Like when I went to Japan, I had 2 days off. And when I went to Australia, I had 2 days off. They weren't in a row, but at least I could go and see the different things that were happening there. Oh, you know what? Now that I mentioned that, I need to say happy birthday to my niece Felicia and Isabel, because their birthday came and I didn't want them to think I forgot them. I did send them gifts. But I just want to say that Uncle loves you, and I send her gifts and stuff.
Hey, Felicia and Isabel, happy birthday.
I'm like, geez, I got to get that in there.
Wow, you must be an amazing uncle to them.
They're such amazing girls, and my great nephew too, Nathan, and my great niece Lydia, they're just amazing, and they have like really good core values,
so great
and they're
being
just
an uncle, isn't it?
They're just so amazing, just to see them evolve and do this and do that, and you just root for them. So I have 2 older nieces that are in their 30s, and then 2 younger nieces that are in their 20s, and then my great niece is 3, and my great nephew is 4. So everything is new to the young ones. They're new, and every single thing is new. Like even a box is new. They don't even want the gift inside. They want the box. The box is even better than a gift. So it's just amazing to see. One does ballet now, and one does basketball. So when you see the little kids do basketball, it's hysterical to me, because they make it fit by having the little ball, the little net and stuff, and them be able to throw the ball and stuff, and everyone gets a chance so that nobody feels left out. But then as you get older, I think they need to migrate from that so that people learn tools of, hey, you're not going to win every time, and hey, you're not going to get a trophy every time, and hey, you're not going to get a pin every time. I think that's what America is missing now, that people don't know that you're not going to win every time.
It's impossible for everyone to win every time.
Correct. And I think we're in the stage now, I call it the good enough stage. So if something is designed for you and a wheel falls off, they're like, it's good enough. The other 3 didn't fall off. So I'm in that stage now where I just accept, okay, this is what we're doing. And it may be shoddy, or it may be half done, or if you order something at a restaurant, it's close, but it's not what you really ordered. Good enough. They go, at least you're gonna eat. So I think that's what we're doing now.
What are some key lessons you try and teach to your nieces?
So I think one of the things to be self-sufficient and always stay in contact with each other. I think that's a big thing.
As sisters.
Yeah. As far as family, that they need to actually reach out and don't think that, hey, they can call me, or hey, they can still call me. Why do I have to call them? I think that's a big thing now, because people don't call each other on the phone anymore. They'll text you. I'm like, hey, is Natalie coming over? Text her. Did you call on the phone? No. I go, what if she didn't get the text? So I think they're at the stage now here in America where people don't call each other on the phone, and they don't go out and meet people face to face. I just found out now about parties that they have online where you can actually do Microsoft Team meetings, and instead of being at the party, you're just in your house. You don't physically have to interact with the other person. You're just you're just there.
Interesting.
And I just saw that a week ago on a report that they showed, and it was the same report that they showed that 50% of the kids in the United States, which is weird, don't have a vegetable each day. And I didn't understand that. I go, so what are they eating? No, they're eating chicken nuggets, they're eating so-and-so, macaroni and cheese, but they're not having a vegetable a day. And I do notice that when I go around on tour, that there are a lot of obese kids, and they don't go outside to play. Like when I was a kid, people were outside playing all the time. So kids can do this, but they can't do this. This they can do, but not so much this. But the parents don't encourage it either, because they're not bothering them, so let them sit there. I saw 2 teenagers texting in the mall. I had to actually go in the mall. They were actually texting in the mall. I looked over. She was texting the girl next to her. Instead of just telling her, she was texting her. She's like, haha, that was funny. She goes, oh, how about? And she texts back to her. And because I was sitting there waiting in this waiting area, I go, are they texting each other? And they're next to it. They were. They would text each other. Yeah. So when you see stuff like that, I go, oh. But 91 degrees in South Beach.
Wow.
So my tour took me to South Beach 2 times within 2 weeks. So I went to South Beach because another celebrity canceled for this event, and it was 2 different events, and kind of got in an argument with the celebrity. I didn't get in an argument with. My publicist sent the celebrity edible arrangement. They rejected it. They didn't take it because they had COVID. One had COVID and one had surgery. So the one that had COVID, he had future dates, and the people called them back after I went and did his event and said, oh, well, we're going to have to renegotiate these dates, and they hired me again, and that's why I went the second time. So when I sent them the edible arrangement, hey, they rejected it and sent it back. It's okay now. We're fine now, but I didn't do it. The person did it that it was running the whole thing. I had nothing to do with it at all. I'm like, hey, what do you mean they sent my edible arrangement back? And yeah, his actual publicist did it. He didn't know anything about it. She rejected it and sent it back. Said, how dare this guy that took his other 3 tour dates send him an edible arrangement? But I didn't know that was coming up. They hadn't asked me yet. And then they asked me after the rejection. I go, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. So, I mean, it was crazy.
Tough. Yeah. And you're going down there for a tour. You're taking a bunch of photos on the beach.
Yep. I went to Miami Beach, and we had a photo shoot there. So it's me and my cameraman and the person that does the lighting blocking. And then I look over, and there's 9 other people next to me that are doing photo shoots all in the same area.
All in the area.
And so apparently there's only one place in America where you can have a picture taken, and it's there because everybody was right there. And it just looked like it was.
Did you recognize any of them?
So you can't really see because you're facing this way and the sun is facing this way.
And you're focused on.
And I'm focused on that, so I couldn't see who these other 9 people are with 9 photographers and 9 big giant balloon people.
Yeah, because I heard J-Lo was down in South Beach recently.
So what's her name had a party. Gloria Estefan had a party at her house. Very nice. So she had.
Nice lady.
So her and her husband Amelia, they released. She was in a video for 80 for Brady. Which, I'm sorry, for the movie 80 for Brady, and they did a video.
The one for Tom Brady.
Correct. So it was that one, and Tom, if you're out there, call me Tom.
Yeah.
So they did a video for it, and they invited all these people over, and they came there, and Lily Tomlin was there, and everybody that was in the video, what's her name, Brenda Carlisle, she was there, and a couple of other people there, Dolly Parton was there. So all the people were there for that area, and where she lives, it's like 4 blocks from the condo that I was at. Where she lives, Lady Gaga lives across the street, and then Rosie O'Donnell lives down the street, and so they're all like right there in that area where I was staying. And occasionally you could see other people because I couldn't really see who it was because I'm surrounded with people I'm dealing with, and people want pictures and autographs and things like that. So you know something's going on because you see there's a big crowd over there too. So it's like that all the time in South Beach. And I remember 2 people in particular telling me, if someone asks you for an autograph or a picture, always stop and take it. And I'm like, well, why? They go, think about the day where nobody wants your picture and nobody wants your autograph. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So, yeah, I know. So
that'll never happen.
I know. Yeah, I just stop. So I stop and I'll stop in the middle of a meal. I've done it. I stopped right in the middle of the meal, got up and take it. But other people, my friends and stuff, they don't get it. They're like, don't they see you're eating? They're thinking, I'm never going to have this opportunity again. He's right here, right now. If I don't get him right now, he's not going to be. And, I've had a couple times like, hey, can you bring this meal back and just heat it up in the microwave and stuff? Because it turned into that.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if Mom told you, but she came out to visit me in Nebraska recently. And we were just sitting down at the Village Pancake House having breakfast. And we saw Mike Rozier over there. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Played for the Oilers, NFL running back. Amazing. And
oh, really?
I was talking and said, Mom, should we just go ask for a photo? It's in the middle of breakfast.
I know, I know.
It's always that balance.
I know, it is, too. It's like, okay, so even if you're waiting, I can still see you waiting, like, is he done? Is that the last bite? And they're just waiting to pounce on you.
Just from the other side, though, that we waited for him, and as he was walking out, jumped and said, hey, can you do this?
Yeah.
That perspective, it means the world.
So it does, yeah.
You always say yes, it means the world.
Oh, yeah, I do. And you know what? And you can see the happiness on their face. So I'm like, I got it. Like every Starbucks knows, like I have Starbucks in East Lyme, Connecticut, and these people are just amazing there. Just like the police department, East Lyme Police Department. If they want anything from me, if they need something, just call me up. I'll come right down. I have no problem doing it whatsoever. Hey, so-and-so's here in town. This person wants to take a picture with you. I'll go right down there. I always said if I had any level of wealth or notoriety. I was always going to give back to the community, and we do. We give back a lot to the community.
You have to.
Now,
the more you give, the more you get.
Absolutely. Right? And I think one thing now, the political season's starting to heat up, and now we got to hear from Donald Trump again, which is okay, but don't start off with, hey, I'm running for president, and you're already giving nicknames to people. I can't relive that again. Can I please have one day when I wake up and don't have acid reflux? That's all I'm asking. I cannot deal with that again. First thing he announced, he gets on whatever the social app is. I don't follow it, social something. And the first thing he's calling this one a name and this one that's going to run and this one. We had 4 years of that. We can't repeat that again. We just cannot do it. I don't have it in me. I just don't. And there's a lot of people, Democrats and Republicans, that agree with that. They're like, listen, the world was on fire when he was president, and we're still trying to put out that fire. Mm-hmm. People, you're fighting literally with people in other countries and things, and that are leaders of other countries. And I just don't have that in me again, because it was during COVID, plus that on top of it, it was just overwhelming. People are still trying to get normalcy back.
For sure. I mean, the repercussions of that are going to go on for at least the next generation.
It is, especially in the medical field. The medical field is really hurting because people are like overwhelmed, they're burnt out.
Medical, teachers.
Teachers are,
government officials, a lot of them are just burnt out, don't want to do it, can't do it.
And they, you know what, it's really bad now, especially with that, because we have a lot of police issues going on, and they make it seem like everybody is this person. Chief Brian Wright in New London, I got to give it to him. He keeps his department right in order. And Bruce Babcock in East Lyme Police Department, he's guys, right on the thing. Yeah. And they're just amazing people. And if you see any of these people, congratulate them. Walk up to them, thank them for their service, and just let them know that they're appreciated.
Definitely.
Because that's
public
servants,
really problem. You know, we need to really appreciate them. And come back together as that community.
They do. And I think that's a big thing, too. Especially, I live in the Flanders section of East Lyme. So what it is we have a lot of community things there. We make sure everyone's fed. We make sure that we have senior transportation in the morning, and we have everything in there. But not a lot of communities are like that. They don't have food pantries. They don't have this. They don't take care of, because everyone's needy in that town. So so that's a great thing to have, which is really, really good.
Yeah. So what are you thinking moving ahead for this next year, 2023?
So I think that whoever wants to be in power needs to be more interactive with the people, and they need to align with what the people want, not just their own personal agenda. If they say they're going to do one thing, don't get in the office and then do another thing, because I can't take 4 years of that. I just cannot. It's nerve-wracking. I have 2 films that I'm probably going to be in. One is still waiting for funding, and the other one is waiting for the director, and I'm hoping that this works out, and I'll be traveling more to do the different things. I sent in the different film tapes and all the stuff we had, and it was amazing. It was really good. So
exciting. Well, we just have a couple seconds left here. So any last words of wisdom, advice that you want to provide for people? Chocolate.
Yes, everybody, just be nice to each other. Be nice to each other. People go through things, and people have different ideologies. Just take care of one another, and make sure that you're nice to someone. Do one random act of kindness a day.
There you go. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Great to see you, and best of luck.
Yeah, great to see you too.